and welcome to the feature discussion for 26 July 2021. My name is Harsh Singh and today we have selected a very important and interesting topic for the discussion. Today we have selected the topic National Rural Livelihood Mission, specifically because now it has been 10 years for the institution of this scheme. So in this article, we will understand what is this basic flagship mission for rural livelihood. So we will understand the basic objective of the scheme. We will understand the various components. Now, since this is an umbrella scheme, that means it will have many schemes under it, especially for women, for rural youth, for rural lifestyle, village lifestyle, etc. So we'll understand some important schemes and what opportunities it has created for the people, what transformation it has created, certain challenges, and after that, what is the way forward in this discussion of the livelihood mission in rural areas, right? So basically, the idea has been to ensure that poverty is removed from rural areas. So to alleviate poverty, the government has instituted two types of programs. First is to have gainful self-employment, and the second one is to have skilled wage employment, right? So either enable them to have their own businesses in rural areas or empower them by providing skills, important skills, so that they can be employed in certain particular sectors. So that is why this scheme has been called as Deen-Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. Antyodaya, the rise of the one who is standing last at the queue, right? Antyodaya, Uday of the Ant, right? So Deen-Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission. So this is the flagship mission. That means, what is the meaning of a flagship? Now, flagship ideally is the first ship which carries the general. Now, flag, it has the flag, and this flag on the mast, this indicates whether the whole ship, the whole sequence of ship, they will turn towards right, to left, or they will attack or not. So this is the flagship, right? Important ship. And that is why this scheme, National Rural Livelihood Mission, this scheme is the flagship scheme. Under this, we will have many schemes for alleviating rural poverty. So this is the basic agenda. Rural poverty has to be alleviated by providing them skills or gainful self-employment, and through the mechanism of institution building, community institutions, right? So certain important schemes under this flagship mission are: one, Mahila Kisan Sashakti-karan Pariyojana, right? Female agriculture empowerment project, right? So this is what it means. Now we will understand what the scheme is about. Before that, let us look at other programs. Community livelihood professionals, right? So this, under this program, the government ensures to empower certain category of people. For example, Krishi Sakhi, Pashu Sakhi. Now these are the people who will be trained to help the whole society, right? So this is another program. And we will also discuss why we are running these kind of programs. The third one is the Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program and Ajivika Gramin Express Yojana, right? So this is for employing in the rural areas, Gramin Express, so certain vehicular mode of commutation to village areas. This is the third program. And the fourth that we discuss is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana. So this is about skill, Gramin Kaushal Yojana. Kaushal means skill. So providing skills to the rural youth, right? And then we have rural self-employment training institutes which are providing these kind of trainings, right? So RSETI. So these are some basic programs the government is running under this umbrella mission. So let us quickly look at each of the programs, right? I have picked this slide from the government website itself so that credibility maintained is the highest. Now the website itself says, government itself says that rural women are most productive workforce in the rural part of the country. In fact, more than 80% rural women are engaged in agriculture. More than 80% are engaged in agriculture. And one important reason for them in agriculture is because their male counterpart emigrate to urban areas to get themselves employed, and therefore they are the ones who are participating in agriculture areas. The second one is widowhood, desertation. Now, because of all this, about 20% female are the heads. About 20% of these females are the farm heads, right? So they are the one who are heading the farming activity in their homes. But do you see them actually leading farming activity? Do you see them running tractors? Do we see them participating in the urban areas where they sell their farm produces? No, we don't see them. So women are not the leaders in this area, and therefore this scheme is to provide Sashakti-karan, empowerment in agriculture sector, right? So providing women force in the agriculture sector in terms of leadership. So this is what this scheme is about, right? So Mahila Kisan Sashakti-karan Pariyojana was instituted as a subcomponent of this mission, right? This is what it says. So what is the main idea? To provide agricultural livelihood, right, in a productive manner, to have managerial capacities, right? Imagine a woman participating in activities like animal husbandry, fisheries, forestry, the complete agricultural setup, right? The mechanization of agriculture, leading in marketing, right? So this is what is the main idea behind this project. This is one of the important projects, especially for women, right? Because male counterparts go to urban areas, because they are empowered themselves, because they are widows, they must be empowered. So this is the main idea. Now, to provide this kind of service to them, we need Krishi Sakhis. We need some females who can empower the actual females running in the rural areas, right? So Krishi Sakhi, Pashu Sakhi. Now this is another scheme, community livelihood professionals, where training is given. Training is given to these particular females to provide training to everybody else. This is another scheme. The third one is about Ajivika Gramin Express Yojana. So what is this scheme? Let us quickly look at it. This scheme is about providing road transport services to the rural areas and connecting them with important services and amenities. So for example, if this is the rural center and these are hamlets or village areas, right, and this is the urban setup, so providing road connectivity to all the areas, right? How will they provide this? Not only this is not about providing road connectivity, but providing important mode of commutation. So a three-wheeler, a four-wheeler. Now a person can actually take loan from a self-help group, or this under this scheme they can take loan and provide this commutation service, right? So having an auto or a four-wheeler, Fatfat Seva, etc., this can be provided. Now this is the main important scheme, right? So community-based organizations, that means self-help groups, they can finance this two-wheeler, three-wheeler, or they can participate in running of the whole scheme. So this is what is the main idea behind this particular scheme. Then we have Gramin Kaushal Yojana, right? So what is Kaushal Yojana? Skill. Now this is especially for the rural youth, right? Around 70% of the youth are in rural areas, right? And therefore they can participate in the building of the rural countryside, right? Therefore, schemes like Make in India, Digital India, Smart Cities, Startup India, Stand Up India. Now, we have discussed many of these schemes in details. Digital India, we covered in one of the featured articles. Then we also covered Stand Up India, right? So this is about scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, either of them, and then women, one woman from each bank in the locality. Now these people have to be empowered and they have to be given fundings for a green project, only for a green project. So this is, now if we have these schemes participating in rural areas, imagine the kind of development youth will have in the rural areas. Can we imagine that rural youth also will pick up these smartphones? Can we imagine the delivery of important medicines and fruits and vegetables through apps? So these are the kind of services we can provide in rural areas as well, with the help of the rural youth. So this is the main scheme behind Gramin Kaushal Yojana, right? Rural self-employment training institutes are the one which will provide training for providing these services, right? So now, in the last 10 years, what is the kind of development these areas have actually had? Empowering rural India. Have they empowered or not? Yes, they have empowered, because these kind of services are demand-based services, right? As the demand increases, see, if we have a road built, people will naturally want to move from one area to the other. So as the demand increases, automatically the service will be given to them, and this will lead to economic activities in rural areas, right? So this has also helped in women empowerment in the rural areas. Very simple. If women get to participate in agriculture and allied activities, they will have more awareness, they will have more finances in hand, right? So family development, social development will be more, participation of workforce, especially of women, will be more. They will start seeking more political participation. They will start seeking their own rights. They will start to vote, right? The whole family literacy, financial literacy, it will increase. Their decision-making capacity in the family also and society also will increase. So there are various kind of benefits which this kind of scheme has provided, right? Financial literacy, increasing incomes of particular family, and decision-making power of the women, they have already increased with this. But there are certain challenges. This scheme also is fraught with certain challenges. Now, for example, the first challenge is low productive sectors. Now, if we select the capacity building in only agriculture, which is actually providing less remuneration, so this is low productive sector. We need to empower females into going into other sectors. For example, allied sectors linked with farming. This is one important area, right? Skill development in service delivery, right? Service delivery. So these are the important areas where they can actually diversify instead of only getting into agriculture sector. Second, forced credit linkage. Now this means that once the loan has been provided, that is the end of it. So only in the books the things are happening, but in real life the loan, where it is used and how it is used, if it is not used in the right way, then it is, the credit linkage is wrongly done and there is no product of this particular result. So this is an issue with this. Ineffective skill training, right? So providing effective skill training is very important. And funding, we have to provide more funding to this kind of scheme so that we empower the rural youth, the females, to stand up, right, on their feet and start economic activities. So what is the way forward? Now, if these schemes are linked to self-help groups, for example, we just studied the scheme in which a commutation is provided with the help of self-help group. So there is a backup to the person who is actually employed. So this backup is actually going to help the whole service provision. This is what is required. Second, we need to have non-differentiated livelihood needs. For example, poor are also at different levels, right? One is extremely poor. The second one is a poor who requires only certain basic amenities. They have fooding, right? They already have fooding and clothing. They require home and they require some services. They require certain only basic requirements, right? And then we have another category of people who are looking for jobs. So we cannot provide them same kind of services, right? They need different kind of services. This is what is required in this scheme, right? And then we have a very beautiful scheme called as extending convergence. Now here, if we have these private companies, for example, Amazon, right? Their delivery, their productive delivery linked to what is produced in village. So selling can become easier. So these are the kind of innovative schemes which can be provided in rural areas. Also government is a major procurer, right? If procurement of these important things can be done by the government, right, from rural areas, so this is the linkage which is required in the next phase, right? So important sectors for offices in government, right, etc., can be procured from these areas. So these are the kind of important things that can be linked, right? For example, National Social Assistance Program. Why cannot we build devices for social assistance in the rural areas, right? Public distribution system. Why cannot we link certain channels through the rural poor in the rural areas, providing important services through them? So this is what is basically required. Now, in this article, we studied one, what is this National Rural Livelihood Scheme about? So what is the basic objective? To alleviate rural poverty, right, through self-employment and wage employment. Second, we studied the major schemes under this head for women, for youth, right? We studied for commutation, etc., right, providing training services. So we studied some of the important schemes. Thirdly, we understood what are the opportunities it has created, right? Various opportunities, for example, empowering rural youth, empowering women areas, creating demand. So this is what we studied. And then we studied what were the major challenges, and how it can be overcome, right? So after having understood this article, all you need to do is to attend this question, right? Critically analyze the success of National Rural Livelihood Mission. What has been the success, and critically analysis of it. After that, what can be done to make this NRLM more inclusive, right? So all the components of the answer are rightly present in this article itself, right? Attempt this question and then you will be done with this kind of news. Thank you for watching.